Hello everyone. So I thought it would be useful today to go over my gear bag, and I'm going to be doing this in two parts. The first part will be what is in the gear bag I take to all my real estate shoots, and then at the end we'll kind of go into more of like what is all the gear that I have, okay? So the first part will just this is going to be kind of a voiceover, but because I didn't like the video or the audio on my iPad recording, but we will check this out. And here is my Pelican case right here. It's a Pelican 1560. All right. And so I carry that case around with me to every job. I usually take it in the house. And as you can see, it's pretty much fully stocked. I have one or two little spaces in there that I can, if I need to take something extra, I can slip in there. But the first thing, I'll kind of work from left to right here, is here's my trigger. And it's just a RF602. It's the original, like, first cheap triggers from China that came out, like when Pocket Wizards was the only game in town. And I just have a few backups in here, meaning like I have a backup transceiver and I also have a backup transmitter in there somewhere, but I didn't pull it out. But that's just a snoot that I use for one of my speed lights, and I actually just use that to kind of keep my trigger in there so the button doesn't press down. You know, if I just throw it in my bag, I had this thing where the button would press and it would drain the battery, so I got sick of that, so I just stuck that little case, or I call it a case, in there. So here's it's a Westcott umbrella. I take that to every shoot. I don't use it all the time, but it's just a white shoot through umbrella. Not sure the diameter, but the size I like fits in my case. That's why I like that size. So whatever size fits in your case. And this is a flashlight. It's a LED lenser, a P7, P7.2 or so. I couldn't even read it. And it's really nice. You can kind of zoom, for lack of a better word, with one hand. So it's really, it's been working. I don't light paint with it too much, but I do use it on my twilight shoots just for looking for my gear. And this is obviously my Robe Light, my main light. And I hold it with that I put that kind of headband down there so it's softer on my hand. I kind of just hold it by fitting my hand in there. And I always use the diffuser on it. I'm getting a little behind, but and here's my backup camera. And I usually attach the 50 millimeter 1.8 lens to my backup camera. That way I'm just kind of ready to go to shoot my details at the end with my backup camera. All right. And here's my main camera, and I have a token of 12 to 28 on there. So the point here would be, you should probably be bringing two cameras to your shoots, which also helps a lot of times, because many times, like on a twilight, I actually use two cameras during, at the same time. So that was a rocket blower. And right here, we've got a Yongnuo speed light, the version 563. Okay, so I take that. I use it for, if you know how I work, I only use one light. And sometimes I like to just have that little speed light. And this is fun foam. I might tape that onto a speed light every now and again for some bouncing or something like that. And this is just a little lens I keep in my bag just in case the focal length, I need a certain focal length, but it's like a kit lens, 18 to 55. I've really been looking into getting like one of these nice Sigmas, like 18 to 35, a Sigma 1.8. But anyway, that's another topic. So we'll get in here into the zippered part. So I have these spare backup batteries to each body. So that one's for my main camera, the backup battery. And here's the trigger that I have to attach to the Robe Light. So that enables my Robe Light to fire with the trigger. I showed you the transmitter, the first thing I showed you. It's a RF602 trigger. And here's just some gels. I have, I think, full CTO and a quarter CTO for my Robe Light. I can just kind of clip those onto my Robe Light, and they call it tough green, whatever that means exactly, but it's a green gel. All right. And this is obviously the CAMRANGER, which if you know how I work, you would know about this already. All right. And so this stuff is all just ready for me to go when I get to a job, most of this stuff. But this is like a backup cable or a cable for my other camera or something. I can't remember. And there's another battery to my backup body. I think that's what that is. And these are handy to have, right? Just a little flash foot in case I want to set my flash up. And this is for my other tripod. I have two tripods, and that's the clip to the other tripod, the Manfrotto. I forget what it's called, snap off clip, whatever it's called. And in here, I've got a neutral density filter, which I use occasionally for real estate, not very often, but it could be useful. It's a 3-stop neutral density. If you wanted to like shoot a like a building in LA and you didn't want anybody to see the people walking around, you could like use this and maybe shut down your aperture, and that'll really make it so everyone's just a blur and you won't be able to see them unless they're standing still. But you could do things like that with a 3-stop neutral density. And this is what I would call my spare pocket. Like there's just spare memory cards in there. There's a spare battery for my transmitter in there. There's a spare cable for my Robe Light in there. I'm seeing, and there's like a thing that I clean my lenses with in there. Oh, and this is important. It just helps all my filters fit on my other lenses. So I go from 77 millimeters, which are what my filters sizes are, and then that can bring them down. I forget what the millimeter size is, but it's just like a step down ring or something. And this is my other filter. It's a polarizer made by Tiffin. I use this every once in a while for exteriors and interiors. I just kind of go back and forth with it. So we got obviously some other gels in there, and the thing that I use for PayPal in there, a couple business card. I'm obviously very messy. I'm not very organized and clean and stuff, but that about does it for the bag, what I take. And this is my tripod, the main one. It's an alloy 8M AT413 made by Enduro, and they don't make that model anymore, unfortunately. And then the head I have on it is a Manfrotto 410 geared head. It's a little out of focus there, but you know, not much to see. You can find these online. You know, they're about $300, but this is something that's going to last you quite a long time. So I wouldn't be too shy about getting something like that. Okay, it's a nice head and it does its job. All right. And my tripod is not a carbon fiber. I kind of feel like, you know, every shot I do is a composite. So I kind of enjoy having a heavy tripod. All right. Okay, so this is just some of the stuff I have more laying around my house and I don't take with me, all right? So just a couple umbrellas, and you can probably see already, but I keep a couple of these Westcott umbrellas just around, and sometimes I do take them to certain jobs, but not average real estate. So there's a spider checker. I don't even really take this anymore. I just feel like I could hold up anything white that I would want and it would be fine. So these have been great. They're 5-way oval reflectors, and there's a translucent option to both of them. And I have a really large one and then a smaller one. And they were really cheap too, I swear. They were like, one of them was like 20 and one of them was like 30 or something. And this is a grid for my Robe Light. And I bought this from China, and it had 3 different grid styles, like narrow and larger beams. And it was like $25, something really good, and it came with that reflector. All right, so here's my huge Behemoth light stand, and it's great as a light stand, I'll tell you that. And I do use it as a light stand a lot of times, but I also mainly use it for a camera stand. And my main thing I use this for is twilights at night, where I want to composite and put the camera really high. And I do have 3 tie-down cords for it, and you can see the model number there. And it's worked great for me. I just don't market that particular service as much as I should, so you know, I don't end up using it as much as I like. Oh well, you know. And we're gonna look really quickly into my closet here. This is kind of sad, but you see like some extra gear over here, like soft boxes and a bunch of stuff. And then down there's a bunch of rope and all kinds of stuff I won't even get into. Okay, so that's about it. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments section. And I hope that helps some of you, just kind of maybe who are starting out, or whoever you are, you know, maybe that gave you an idea of something you might need. And I hope it helps. All right. So I will see you for the next one. And thank you for listening. All right. Bye-bye.